I want you to think about your own sense of self-worth as a currency. Every man has one. For 99% of men, this currency is weak, volatile, and pegged to a foreign market they cannot control. This is the market of external validation. You wake up in the morning, and the value of your currency is uncertain. You post a picture online, and you anxiously watch the likes come in like a day trader watching a stock ticker. You send a text to a woman you're interested in, and the hours she takes to reply feel like a market crash for your self-esteem. This is the life of the emotionally bankrupt man. He is a frantic trader in the chaotic, 24/7 marketplace of public opinion. His happiness, his confidence, and his very sense of being enough are constantly fluctuating based on the whims of others. A single compliment can make him feel rich, while a single rejection can wipe him out completely. It is an exhausting, powerless, and deeply undignified way to live. But what if you could exit this volatile market? What if you could stop being a frantic trader and become your own sovereign central bank? What if you could issue your own stable currency, a currency of self-worth so strong and so reliable that it is insulated from the market crashes of rejection and the inflation of neediness? This is the promise of the Stoic economy. It is a profound and practical framework for building a life of unshakable inner value. It is the art of creating and backing your own psychological currency with a gold standard that can never be devalued. Today, we are not giving you market tips. We are giving you the keys to your own treasury. We will reveal the 3 pillars for building this new economy. And pay close attention, because the 3rd pillar is a secret to surviving and even thriving during the inevitable market crash of a major life setback or a brutal breakup. Before we can build our own economy, we must first fully understand the flawed system we are leaving behind. Let's dissect the foreign exchange market of validation. The man operating in this market has pegged his own fragile currency of self-worth to a foreign power he believes to be stronger and more stable. For many men, this is a reserved currency of female approval. Her attention, her validation, and her desire become the standard against which he measures his own value. When she gives him her approval, his currency is strong, and he feels confident and happy. When she withdraws it, his currency collapses, and he is plunged into a recession of self-doubt and anxiety. This system is inherently unstable. It makes him incredibly susceptible to emotional inflation. The first compliment feels amazing, but over time, he needs more and more validation to achieve the same feeling. He has to constantly up the ante, performing more, pleasing more, just to feel the same level of self-worth. It also makes him vulnerable to catastrophic market manipulation. A controlling or narcissistic person can easily learn to manipulate his value by strategically giving and withholding their approval, keeping him in a constant state of uncertainty and dependency. The Stoic looks at the system and sees it for what it is, a form of voluntary slavery. You have willingly handed over control of your own economic well-being to a foreign power with its own agenda. The first act of the Stoic is to declare his own economic independence. This endless, exhausting, and emotionally draining trade is the source of all masculine neediness. It is the reason you feel that pit in your stomach when you are waiting for a reply. But you have the power to exit this market entirely. The first step is to lay the foundation for your own central bank, to back your own currency with an asset that no one can ever take from you. If you are tired of your self-worth being a volatile stock traded on someone else's market, if you are ready to declare your own economic independence, then this is your moment. Commit to this work. Subscribe to this channel right now. Join a community of men who are learning to become their own central bankers. This isn't just a click. It's your first investment in a currency that will never fail you. Let's build the foundation. This brings us to the first pillar of your new economy, the gold standard of your unchanging virtues. A strong currency cannot be based on mere promises or fleeting sentiment. It must be backed by something real, something with intrinsic and universal value. In the Stoic economy, the asset that backs your currency of self-worth is gold. And that gold is your unwavering commitment to a code of virtues. Your integrity is gold. Your discipline is gold. Your courage is gold. Your honesty is gold. These are the real, tangible assets that are stored in the vault of your character. Unlike external validation, the value of this gold does not fluctuate based on public opinion. Integrity is always valuable. Courage is always valuable. Discipline is always valuable. They are the universal standard of a man's worth. The man who operates on this gold standard generates his value from within. His confidence is not a feeling he gets from a woman's smile. It is the deep, quiet knowledge that he has a vault full of gold. He knows that he is a man who keeps his word, a man who faces his fears, a man who rules his own impulses. How do you acquire this gold? You do not find it. You mine it. You mine it every single day through your actions. Every time you choose a difficult, virtuous path over the easy, comfortable one, you're adding a small amount of pure gold to your reserves. When you get up and go to the gym when you feel lazy, you have mined a piece of discipline. When you speak the truth when a lie would save you from a moment of discomfort, you have mined a piece of integrity. When you face a fear, you have mined a piece of courage. Your daily life is your gold mine. A man who is rich in virtue is a man who can never be made poor by the opinions of others. With your currency now backed by the gold standard of your character, you need the second pillar to manage and grow your new economy. This is the treasury of your purposeful investments. A central bank doesn't just sit on a pile of gold. It uses its assets to make strategic investments that grow the strength and influence of its nation. In the Stoic economy, your most precious and liquid assets are your time and your attention. These are your investment capital. The emotionally bankrupt man wastes his capital. He invests it recklessly in low-value assets. Hours of mindless scrolling, pointless arguments, and people who provide no return. In dating, he makes the catastrophic investment of pouring all his capital into one speculative and proven stock, a woman he has just met. The Stoic man is the ultimate value investor. He is the chancellor of his own treasury. He allocates his capital with ruthless intelligence. His primary, blue-chip investment is his own mission. This is the high-yield enterprise of his own life's purpose. He invests the vast majority of his time and attention into growing his own competence, his own business, his own knowledge, and his own strength. This is the asset that provides the most reliable and compounding returns in the form of self-respect and real-world capability. He then views his relationships as other strategic investments. He does not throw his capital at every opportunity. He performs his due diligence. He looks for a company, a partner, with strong fundamentals, good character, shared values, and a positive outlook. He makes a calculated investment of his time and attention, and he expects a healthy return. The return he seeks is not validation, but mutual growth, peace, loyalty, and support. If a relationship consistently proves to be a toxic asset, a drain on his resources with no positive return, a wise investor does not continue to pour good money after bad. He divests. He cuts his losses and reallocates his precious capital back into his own primary mission. With a currency backed by the solid gold of your virtues and a treasury actively managed to invest in your purpose, you have created a stable, powerful, and growing inner economy. You are no longer a desperate beggar in the foreign exchange market of validation. You are the bank. But every economy, no matter how strong, will eventually be tested by external shocks. There will be market crashes, deep recessions, and hostile takeover attempts. In the final part of this guide, we will reveal the third and most crucial pillar, how the Stoic man acts as a master economist during a crisis. We will uncover the Stoic strategy for navigating emotional recessions, surviving a total market collapse like a breakup, and ultimately achieving a state of unbreakable financial and emotional sovereignty. We have laid the foundations of your new, sovereign economy. You have exited the volatile foreign exchange market of public opinion. You have established your own central bank. You have backed your currency of self-worth with the indestructible gold standard of your virtues. And you have begun to wisely manage your treasury of purposeful investments, pouring your precious capital of time and attention into your own mission. With this system in place, you have created a stable and growing inner economy. You are no longer a beggar, hoping for a handout of validation. You are the bank. But as any great economist knows, building a strong economy in times of peace is only half the battle. The true test comes when the inevitable storms arrive. Every economy will be tested by external shocks, by sudden market crashes, by deep recessions, and by hostile takeover attempts. This brings us to the third and most crucial pillar of the Stoic economy. It is not an asset you hold, but a skill you must master. It is a mindset that allows you to navigate any crisis not just with your wealth intact, but with your power enhanced. This is a pillar of the master economist, forged in the power of Stoic perception. The average man, the frantic day trader, is a purely emotional investor. When the market of his life takes a downturn, a sudden rejection, a major conflict in his relationship, a professional setback, he panics. He listens to the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, the FUD, being screamed by his own inner critic. He looks at the short-term chart as emotions and makes catastrophic decisions. He panic sells his principles, his dignity, and his long-term goals just to stop the immediate pain. He liquidates his assets of self-respect in a desperate attempt to cover the margin call of his own anxiety. The Stoic, the master economist of his own mind, operates differently. He understands the fundamental truth of all markets. The event itself is never the real danger. The panic about the event is. His mastery comes from his unwavering application of the dichotomy of control, which is the ultimate form of risk management. He clearly distinguishes between what he can control, his own investment strategy, his own actions, his own perception, and what he cannot, the irrational panic of the market, the actions of other traders, the external event itself. He does not try to stop the market from crashing. He accepts the crash as a reality. But then, he does something that seems insane to the emotional trader. He sees the crash not as catastrophe, but as a buying opportunity. This is the Stoic principle: the obstacle is a way, reframed for the modern man. When the market of his life is down, when everyone else is selling the panic, he calmly looks for the assets that are now undervalued. The painful breakup is a buying opportunity for the asset of self-knowledge. The professional failure is a buying opportunity for the asset of humility and a new strategy. He buys the dip on himself, investing his energy into the lessons that only a downturn can provide. He knows that true wealth is forged in the fire of market crashes, not in the calm of a bull run. Let's see how this master economist applies his policies in the real world. Consider the common emotional recession within a long-term relationship. These are the periods of distance, conflict, and negative growth. The connection feels like it is shrinking. The untrained investor panics. He either tries to flood the market with desperate stimulus, needy, people-pleasing behavior, buying gifts, forcing date nights, or he imposes a harsh austerity, withdrawing completely, stonewalling and withholding all affection. Both are reactive moves that often deepen the recession. The Stoic economist enacts a calm and stable monetary policy. His sensor, his awareness, tells him the economy is contracting, but he consults his long-term strategy, his gold standard of virtue. He does not make drastic, emotional moves. He remains a stable and reliable presence. He communicates clearly and rationally. He continues to make his own sound investments in himself his mission. He weathers a downturn with the patient confidence of a seasoned leader, knowing that recessions are a natural and often healthy part of any long-term economic cycle. His calm becomes a stabilizing force that allows the market to naturally find its footing again. Now consider a more hostile threat: the hostile takeover attempt from a manipulative or narcissistic personality. This is a person who tries to seize control of your emotional economy. They attempt to devalue your currency with constant criticism and gaslighting. They create artificial asset bubbles with intense love bombing, only to pop them and leave you in a crash. They want to merge your healthy economy into their own toxic, debt-ridden system. The amateur trader is easily fooled by this. He gets swept up in the bubble and is destroyed when it bursts. He starts to believe their valuation of him. But the Stoic banker, the master economist, recognizes the fraudulent accounting. He holds firm to his gold standard. He knows the real value of his own virtues, and he refuses to trade his solid gold for their fiat currency of manipulation. He protects his treasury, refusing to invest his time and attention into their drama. And ultimately, he uses his power as a sovereign to divest. He calmly and decisively exits the toxic entanglement, preserving the integrity of his own economy. Finally, we must face the ultimate test of your economic system: the total market crash of a significant breakup or life failure. For the man whose entire portfolio was invested in one single stock, the relationship, this is total and complete ruin. His net worth of self-esteem goes to zero. He is emotionally bankrupt. The Stoic economist is hit hard. His portfolio takes a massive loss, but he is not wiped out. Why? Because he was diversified. First, his treasury was primarily invested in his own mission, his health, and his friendships. These assets, while damaged, are still there. Second, and most importantly, his currency is still backed by the gold standard of his character. The market may have crashed, but the gold in his vault is still pure. His integrity, his courage, his discipline, these things remain. And he uses his final tool. A more fatty becomes his bailout. He doesn't look for an external savior. He accepts the reality of the crash as a necessary, albeit brutal, market correction. He sees it as an essential chapter in his long-term economic journey. He knows that from the ashes of this crash, a newer, stronger, and more resilient market can be built. He grieves the loss, but he immediately gets back to the work of a master economist, analyzing the data, learning the lessons, and reinvesting his remaining capital into the one asset he will always believe in, himself. This is the Stoic economy. It is a complete system for a life of inner wealth and unbreakable sovereignty. It is founded on a currency of self-worth backed by the gold standard of your virtue. It is managed by a treasury of your purposeful investments. And it is guided by the unshakable wisdom of a master economist's perception during any crisis. The goal is not to become rich in the eyes of others. It is to achieve a state of profound, internal wealth that no market crash, no recession, and no foreign power can ever take from you. It is the peace that comes from knowing that you are the central bank, you own the gold, and you set the policy. You are the source of your own value.